For context, I'm a 23-year-old history student at college in a small town in the United States. I love learning about history, specifically wars. My grandfather passed away recently after a long battle with stage 4 leukemia. He and I were very close. He would tell me stories about his combat experiences in Vietnam, and a few days later, I received a package from his estate. Dear Mr. Thompson, enclosed are a few items your grandfather wanted you to have. I opened the package to reveal a leather-bound journal and a World War I era dog tag. I opened the letter accompanying the items as well. Jack, this is something I never told you for your own good, Grandpa. I took a deep breath and opened the journal. Journal of Private James Holden, 2nd Battalion, Western Front. October 5th, 1917. They say the war will end soon. I've heard that lie before, but I write it here for the sake of hope. The trench is the same as always, mud up to our knees, rats growing fat on the dead, and the constant stench of decay. Tonight the fog rolled in thicker than I've ever seen. Corporal Davies swears he saw something moving out in no man's land. We laughed it off, but he wouldn't let it go. I don't blame him. The silence feels wrong. Even the guns seem hesitant. October 16, 1917. Something happened. I can hardly hold the pen, my hands are shaking so badly. Willoughby, young lad, barely out of training, vanished during the night. He was on watch with me when he suddenly dropped his rifle and climbed out of the trench. He said nothing, just disappeared into the fog. We called after him, but he didn't respond. Hours later he came back, only it wasn't him. Not really. His uniform was torn, and his skin was grey as ash. When he smiled, it wasn't a man's smile. It was too wide, too unnatural. We shot him. God help us, we had no choice. But even after the bullets, he kept moving. It took a bayonet through the chest to stop him. We buried him just before dawn. No prayers, no ceremony. None of us could look at the grave for long. October 19, 1917. We're cursed. There's no other word for it. Davies tried to leave. We found him at the edge of the trench, staring into the fog. He fought us when we pulled him back, screaming about the light and the voices. It took 3 of us to restrain him. By morning, he was dead. His body was cold as ice, his skin pale as death itself. We buried him next to Willoughby. The whispers grow louder. I swear I saw shapes moving in the mist, but every time I looked, they vanished. October 29, 1917. Another one gone. Pritchard this time. He walked into the fog like Willoughby did. When we found his body, it was covered in frost. The whispers are constant now. They call my name. They laugh. I dreamt of my family last night. They were standing in no man's land, their faces twisted into horrible smiles. I woke up screaming. The fog doesn't lift anymore. Day and night, it surrounds us. I've stopped counting how many men we've lost. October 30, 1917. No one is left. Only me. The trench is silent, save for the whispers. They're louder than ever, and now they're inside my head. I see the faces of the men who died, their hollow eyes watching me from the mist. I don't know how long I can hold out. My hands are numb, my breath fogs in the air. The cold seeps into my bones. They're calling me. I think I'll go. I close the journal, my eyes dilated and breathing rapid as my heart nearly burst from my chest. It shouldn't have been possible. It didn't make any sense. I made my way to the window to look outside. There was a heavy fog rolling in, usual for this time of year. My eyes looked around, then widened when I saw something that made my blood run cold. It was my grandpa, standing there in his combat uniform with a too wide smile on his face. His skin was grey, and he was mouthing something. I could just barely make it out through the fog. Join me.